Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now, the important question is whether or not Rush's fucking stream can hear either of us. I guess we'll find out in 2 minutes.
Oh my god, you were so loud on my headphones.
Am I?
Yeah, that's probably just an issue on my end, though.
Is there an option in Discord where you can change my volume to you?
I'm just gonna turn my headphone volume down. I had it up fairly loud.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Alright. So, I need to, get in a chat channel, don't I? Or, in-game?
I don't think they've made the game yet. HX says they can hear us.
Sweet. Hello,
Okay,
world.
Rush, you did it.
We did it, dLife. We did it. Oh god.
Let's see, I'm scrolling up. The first match is Sugar versus Pursuit. What race is Sugar, do we know? Do you know? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
He's got a Terran avatar. He's Terran. He's Masters 1 right now, but he's been Grandmasters this season. Should be a good match. So T versus T. What did I say the map was? I guess we'll find out soon enough. Oh, Frozen Temple. I hate that map. I hate all the rocks and stuff. It makes the pathing really strange as the game goes on. I mean, I know you can break them, but there isn't that much incentive to try and break rocks near you because you don't want to give your opponent more paths to use. So it's sort of a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Oh, you by the rocks by that third location or the yeah. Those I don't see those utilized a lot, at least at my level. Every so often you'll get a Terran that'll kind of jump, skip, and hop their tanks around with medevacs over there and harass, I guess.
Yeah, they do that.
But yeah, I don't really see those get played a lot. So, but it always makes for an interesting time, I guess.
HTech has told me a second time that they can hear us. I guess he's struggling with the concept of stream delay.
Yes. Stream delay. I don't even know where that option is in the OBS settings.
All right, I've never used the program.
I've never actually had to use it as far as
I forget.
stream delay, anyways.
Looks like the lobby's up. I'm joining off Rush. I forget what program I used briefly when I streamed back in Wings of Liberty. Do you know what was common about 4 years ago?
In what?
Streaming software.
XSplit maybe?
Yeah, XSplit. It was such a pain to use. People kept saying that even back then that OBS was easier, but I didn't bother with it. It had kind of a, I think, scrappy reputation then.
Yeah, it's from what I've heard, it was pretty buggy back in the day. I think they've fixed a lot of the issues they've had with it, but the only thing I've ever used is OBS, so anything I say about XSplit, it could completely be wrong. So, who knows? I mean, I'm getting the hang of OBS, but it takes some time.
How frequently do you stream?
Not at all right now. My work schedule is pretty rough, but
Oh, okay.
I just this weekend kind of revamped my overlays and stuff. So I mean,
So once you get Grandmaster and have a cult following, you'll be ready to oblige them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be the most super bourgeois, NA player ever. It'll be great.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. Look out, guys. Lemons GSL champion 2020. I don't know. I'm giving myself a few years, right?
I finally got a supporter for, I don't know how you say their team PSISTORM. Do you know what their team name is? I know that's the tag.
PSISTORM?
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, the tag is system. That's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, not to
Already, and the game begins.
anybody's.
So, I don't know what a lot of people do in the ladder. When I played 10 vs 10, I always go mech, and it works almost every time I use it. At the GSL level, I see a lot of the Koreans going mech, but for some reason, the majority of the Terrans I play against are still going bio, so we'll see what style these two prefer.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of TVT games, but I have the ones that I have all been bio. But I was early on in Legacy of the Void, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure why so many Terrans are still favoring bio. I mean, I favored mech even back in Wings of Liberty. I mean, I understand that being able to move siege to tanks with medics. We got gas first from Sugar in PSISTORM, same for Pursuit in dLife. And so I understand that being able to move your tanks quickly can make a biotank army stronger, and it of course completely renders the pure bio style that we sometimes saw in Wings of Liberty useless. But I don't follow the where that leads into mech not being good, like just because bio with tanks is a little better than it used to be doesn't mean that mech is worse relative to it, because of course they receive the same bonus. Fast second gas by Sugar. The point of that timing is he'll be able to start his Reaper and Factory simultaneously.
Okay. Yeah, like the being able to pick up siege tanks kind of just turned TVT upside down as far as like what everybody was used to for a long time.
Not for me. I play the same. I don't usually get medics at all in Terran vs Terran because I have so many tanks. Although I have seen the GSL level, they will frequently get a few medics once they've obtained air control via Vikings. They'll throw in some medics to fully exploit the fact that they do have air control from a superior Viking count, and they'll use that either to drop Hellbats on the enemy or reposition tanks quickly, the same way the bioplayer does. Okay, and so Sugar pulled off a worker from each gas. I think even with the pulled gas, he'll be able to go Cloaked Banshee still. We'll see. He's got the port, and he put SCVs back on. So yeah, I'm pretty confident he's going Cloaked Banshee. He's just going to poke with Reapers and Hellions. He may stay on one Hellion. We'll see. Just trying to figure out what Pursuit's going. But he scouted the one gas of Pursuit, so it's pretty likely that he'll have anticipated this relatively early CC.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh.
Huh. No tech lab for his port.
But
I wonder if he's just making a medic. That doesn't really make sense, so the medic's not going to use up all the gas he's been accumulating. It's a Liberator, okay.
Sugar's got no add-ons over here. I don't know. Let's see.
Sugar probably could get some damage done here, but I think he's trying to play cautious because he doesn't know when something's going to pop out.
Yeah.
Good mine hit, but... And Pursuit has cleared his base. His port didn't get finished, though. Killed the SCV on that hasn't moved yet. Alright, so Pursuit...
coming down for Sugar as well, so...
Yeah, Sugar still has so much gas. Okay, there's a tech lab on the port, but I think it's just for a Raven by this point, now that he's expanding. So with the factory on the reactor, it looks like Pursuit's going mech. Because he gassed up so heavily early, I want to say that Sugar is probably also going mech, but that's not necessarily the case. I've seen again in the GSL Terrans, a lot of them will use these tech-heavy openings, these gas-heavy openings, and then use combination of Vikings or medics or whatever to secure themselves early. Oh, good mine hit.
Ooh. Yeah, those
6-kill Liberator. The Vikings taking care of it, but that's some pretty bad damage. Huh. Some timely Hellions. I didn't see if he lost another, but he's cleared his base again. But we look at, Sugar's ahead on SCVs now. That Liberator got a lot of value out of it. Oh, it is Cloak. See a Banshee? Yeah, Banshee just popped out. Yeah, now that the Liberator got so many kills, now that Banshee is likely to get some damage. Although Pursuit is saving scans. I don't know if he's doing that deliberately or if he just forgot to use them.
Right.
There's two mules. Still got 2 scans saved. He's got 2 Vikings, but he's not moving them yet.
Right. Yeah, he didn't even see that.
2 Vikings should be able to kill that within 1 scan if he uses the scan. He's got the energy. I'm not sure what. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, it just barely got out of the range because he wasn't microing the Vikings. That's really unfortunate for him that he had to use that extra scan. And then, of course, he lost the mules that he dropped. So he had saved up 200 energy across both orbitals and then effectively lost all of that. Whereas Sugar, even though his CC was later, he's been able to use all of his mules and he's got a 3rd CC up. Yeah, so you see he did what I was attempting to describe. And even though he used this tech-heavy opening, he just transitioned into by adding barracks and getting stim. Because, with that much tech out, the threat of, that second Banshee and whatever else, because he hasn't scouted him well, he doesn't know if he has tanks or something like that. Pursuit can't take advantage of the fact that he's switching to bio and has this really late stim.
Mm-hmm. And the SCV detriment is just getting worse. I mean, he's consistently 10 behind Sugar.
Yeah, now that he's using that 3rd orbital to make more SCVs, that gap's gonna get larger rather than shorter. So right now, and not for very much longer, Pursuit has a army advantage as far as value goes, but because he's timid from having taken so much rest, he's not putting it to good use. This Hellion count would be enough to, kill off Marines and prevent Sugar from actually landing this 3rd if he was on the other side of the map, but because he's playing so cautiously, it's not happening. So he's only mining, Pursuit is only mining with 1 SCV in each gas. I assume that was a deliberate pull, but he's going to need to put those back on if he wants to sustain this 2-port production.
Right.
I do like that he's taking advantage of the fact that he knows from what's being produced that he has a Viking advantage, even if it's not a big one, and he's using that to build Liberators early. He's got a Raven on the way. So it's going to be... If he controls correctly and doesn't do that, he should be able to use the Liberators to threaten Sugar's army, even though he has Marines, because the Hellions will prevent him from running forward. But if he keeps losing Hellions, he won't be able to do that. Yeah, see, right now he's actually, if he had spread his units around a little more, he could be poking in the back of Sugar's 3rd and in the Nat, just going around those siege tanks. But because he ran them all up down the center instead of splitting them up, he doesn't have that option. No armory for Pursuit. His upgrades are going to be pretty far behind, which means that, since bio players always focus on upgrades, he's got the 1-1, about a 3rd done. Sugar's army is going to be pretty scary. And this push, I don't think he can stop it.
Yeah,
he has no tanks.
Big conga line coming down here.
He has air control, but air control without tanks or a really good Hellion count isn't going to matter.
I mean, he has the air control, but nothing shoots down, which is where most of Sugar's firepower is. Yeah, the Liberators are gone. That's it. And
And PSISTORM Sugar takes the first game.
Alrighty. Yeah, my TVP
initial
knowledge is... I'm looking at this like, alright, this is happening.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by Pursuit getting that fast second start port. If he had grabbed the factory and started on Blue Flame, he may have been able to hold that just by having, slightly more Hellions and having them be more effective against that Marine push. Sugar was able to snowball the damage from each wave of harass he threw at Pursuit. Pursuit could have gotten some trades with Hellions, especially since, beyond the first few Hellions and Reapers, all of the harass was from air units, from that Liberator and the 2 successive Banshees. If he had, focused on it a bit more, he would have realized that he had the advantage on the ground and could have used those Hellions, even if he didn't get kills, to deny mining in the Nat and then prevent the landing of the third. But by the time he did try and poke with those Hellions down the middle of the map, he no longer held the ground advantage and only had the air advantage, which he wasn't able to use.
Right, and and even splitting off those Liberators, I mean, that could have been something that just warranted having the push come in from Sugar earlier than that. So it just kind of signaled him to just push forward, because half of whatever he actually had was out harassing. So
Well, he wasn't really keeping tabs on how large Pursuit's army was. I think if he had been more confident, and even if he didn't want to use the Hellions, had used those Liberators initially to try and do some harass, I think Sugar would have played defensively, since he had that expansion advantage. He didn't need to force things.
right. Yeah.
See, I'm joining lobby. Looks like Rush has made the second map.
Okay.
By the way, I'm playing the third match. You're going to have to either cast everything on your own or find a friend. It will be a Terran vs. Zerg in my match, so you'll at least be able to tell everyone what the Zerg's doing.
All right. Well,
And then just be like, oh, Lyra's using this build again. Kills me every time.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We will see. I mean, good luck and everything. I wish you the best.
I'm not playing yet.
Well, I know. I'm just, preemptively. Yeah.
Why are there only dLife players in this lobby?
Oh, the plot thickens.
So I think this is a Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yes. Ooh, on Dasan Station. This should be interesting.
Yeah, initially I was going to be playing on Dasan, but I cried a lot, and Rush kept asking, well, if anyone wants to change map, and I jumped. I'm like, yes, I would love to play something else. And Vaj was like, I'm too good to act like I gave a shit about what map I play on, even though he probably does care. And so we threw him on Dasan. But of course, Vaj will. Well, never mind. We'll see how it goes. I didn't look to see who his opponent was. Is it this guy, the Caleb? Do you see in the Discord? See, looks like he's Masters 1 now, and he was a Grandmaster last year, so shouldn't be a bad match. I don't know if anyone was talking about him, so I don't know if we can anticipate any particular style.
Yeah. Generally, in ZVZ, it's a rush to mutas or a rush to lurkers, right? Or just a straight up early Deathling Bane type.
Yeah, because of the distance between bases on this map, just that initial rush distance, I think we can probably anticipate Ling Bane versus Ling Bane now that I think about it.
I can too. Now, I haven't played a lot of games on this map, so I wouldn't be able to say, but I mean, theoretically, I'm not sure if 2 queens would block off one of these little chokes. I know a queen used to block it off when they had those little blocks in before they, I guess, updated the map. But
So you think Lings can get by the queen on the ramp right now? Is what you're saying?
Well, not the ramps. The that middle section there
Oh,
with those
what?
little chokes on the side.
I wouldn't be too worried about defending that. You know,
Yeah.
I guess the
mean-
scenario I'm envisioning is if one Zerg is trying to force up Ling Bane up the ramp while the other has taken a more economic opening and taken that, I'll call it the backdoor expansion.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
So, oh,
Vaj says it's on the eastern server, which means he has approximately 350 ping to it, if that's accurate. I know they were talking about...
Ling Bane.
Yeah, I think they're going to remake it.
Yeah.
He did ask for that before the game.
Yeah.
Was
No,
Rush
he
the
did.
host? Rush failed us. Everyone let Rush know he failed Vaj.
Everyone. Tweet, PM, tell your friends. Russia's failed Vaj.
What does that mean? How many hats? What is he talking about? Are you in the
like
clan
how
channel?
many roles, how many jobs must he fill? I think it's a how many hats?
Well, you know, I didn't say he had one job. I just said he sucked at the job of being host.
There's too many cooks. Too many cooks.
So,
Alright.
what I was trying to say about
Mhm.
you know how the strategy might work out, and you know my Z versus Z knowledge is very lacking and dated at best. But if one is doing what I initially predicted and trying to force Ling Bane up the ramp, if the other just has a couple roaches sitting behind a queen with a higher drone count, having taken that backdoor expansion, he may be able to get ahead early. But I guess that's the rock paper scissors nature of Z versus Z.
Yeah, the worker weight in ZVZ is so much more like evident than it is in other matchups, or like even other mirror matchups.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely, because every larva makes a difference.
Mhm.
You make a drone instead of two Lings, and you could actually lose the game from that.
Yeah, and that's what makes ZVZ so weird and volatile. And there's all these little subtleties that kind of build up, and it is because you're not only kind of gauging, trying to scout like your opponent's worker count, or whatever. But since that thought got away from me, I think you know where I'm going with that with the larva. It's a third resource.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand that because I played Zerg and Broodboar, where you couldn't just magically bake more larvae, so absolutely every larva was precious. And I understand that, in Z vs. Z, that's still for sure the case. And, it's still the case to a lesser degree in the other matchups, which is why in, for example, Terran vs. Zerg, Zergs are really focusing on making a lot of queens, not just because of the recent queen buff, but also because they take supply but don't use up larvae. So if you have excess resources, those larvae can make drones, and then you simultaneously boost your income and your army, which is something that usually Zergs can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the case in Z vs. Z? Do you not usually see mass queen like that?
Not so much mass, but generally more than in the other matchups, because it's such a easy way to kind of push ahead by just that little bit, and defense. I mean, run bys and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can put up static D and stuff, but generally your map vision is going to rely less on things like overlords and be more like wing / creep spread type stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the other dynamic we didn't mention in the first iteration of this game was, and that's a very fast drone scout. What do you think that's about?
Well.
Okay, well, at any rate,
one of two things. He's either going to go hatch first, which is ridiculous on this map, or he's I don't know. Maybe he's trying to put like a spine crawler down at the very edge of creep, but that's something.
Can you do that without a pool?
No, you can't.
Yeah, it looks.
I said
No, he did make the pool. Yeah. So the other thing I was going to say is the distance for overlords to travel is very quick.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me very surprised that he would drone scout like that, because all he's done so far. I mean, I guess he scouted whether or not it was a 13 pool or 12 pool, whatever the fast is. I think that's what it was, because beyond that, the overlord will scout anything later than that in time for you to do something about it. So they've both gone pool hatch before. Yeah. Bodge just started his gas. Caleb Arrakis. What does Arrakis mean? Does anyone know?
Arrakis? Is that like... Oh.
Yeah, it's in his name.
Arrakis. Or I don't even know.
I don't know. I'm going to call him Caleb. He's the blue guy.
Safe.
We got a Roach Warren by Caleb. It's interesting to me that they both took the golds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if that's normally standard on this map?
It makes sense. I mean, at least in ZVZ, you want to get as much of an economic lead as possible. I think it just boils down to they're both going for relatively aggressive builds, judging by what they're building so far. So, I mean, they're not being aggressive now, but it's gonna end up being somewhat of a roach timing. From what I think from both. I
think it's interesting that they're both going roach after taking the farther out base, Because I was saying before the game started, we might see them take the back expansions and then defend the small choke of the ramp with, a queen and a few roach. But
which
going
makes
roach...
more sense, because, normally if you're doing, a link build or something, you want to... The creep helps.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess in ZVZ not so much, as far as if your opponent's on creep, he's faster too. Doesn't matter who it is. Right.
Well, neither of them are touching link speed. Caleb's bringing some units over here, but Bodge already has 3 queens here, and that overlord placement by Caleb may be detrimental to him pretty soon here. Oh,
I think you'll be able to get it away. Maybe no.
He's gonna...
Yeah, it's going on the high ground, so it survives with 5 health.
Nope. He got vision from those roaches. Alright, let's see. Vaj has the, very slightly larger army. Caleb only has a 2-drone lead, though, in spite of that.
Yeah, well, no, they're even now. Which is, relatively normal, aside from... Because nobody's been really
2 Ravagers
harassing or anything yet. So
before the action starts, let me point out that Caleb Maynarded, or rallied, however you want to say it, more drones to the gold to fully saturate it, whereas Vaj has not done that. He has more drones in his base.
Yeah, Vaj is just... Well, he's not making anything at this specific second in his production. There we go, more roaches.
Those queens are so slow off creep. That's a dead queen. Yeah, he didn't get the transfuse. Yep. He tried to. He may still be suffering from ping issues, even if it's on west. Because, if he has 350 ping to east, he probably still has in excess of 200 for west.
Yeah.
Whose spine is that? Is that an offensive one? I don't see a drone coming.
Yeah, that's an offensive spine.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, Caleb has the army advantage right now.
Yeah.
But Vaj has the the Ravagers. The Ravager advantage.
He does, and he doesn't have...
It's a good concave for Caleb,
though. Which is gonna... Yeah, no, this is...
Oof.
He's got 8 roaches on the way, but I don't
Too little, too late.
Yeah. No, he's out of transfuses. These queens are gonna melt.
Yeah, and seems like Caleb was just more familiar with this scenario, was able to take advantage of the map and the builds better.
They did roughly the same build, but they executed it at
differently.
different times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he was just that much faster.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. I mean, this I think it was the Roach Warren. It was about half of its build time earlier than Vodge's, and
Mm-hmm. It's interesting though, looking at the score screen, Caleb only outspent him by 50 resources,
Mm-hmm.
and actually had 4 fewer units. But Vaj had more drones, so it looks like he was prepared to have a greater income in time, but was punished by not having enough units before that income could make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, and which kind of is a testament to the whole ZVZ mentality of that fine line.
Mm-hmm.
You got that fine line between droning too much or not droning enough, and having a bunch of useless army. So you either have a whole bunch of army and you're attacking, or you have a whole lot of drones and you're, I guess, teching or building your economy. But in ZVZ, it's harder to be as greedy as you can in the other matchups. So there comes a point where, especially if you're doing the same build as the other guy, that you just step over that line. You've hit and you've gone over 21, and you're out and you've lost all your money and all your units die, and it's terrible.
Yep. Well, looks like I'm up and we are down 0-2. If I lose this, no pressure on me. If I lose this, we lose the clan war.
Yeah.
If I win, then it goes to Kesha, and then he'll have the opportunity to tie it up.
Well, I haven't actually seen Kesha play. That would be interesting, but this.
Well, it's my goal to make that a possibility for you, because I don't know if they'll bother playing the match if I lose, because we'll have lost the Glenmore. Right. I don't know if you want to grab Vaj or something for a co-cast, or just cast on your own. Let's see, my opponent is Warren. So you said you've played since Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, I mean at a relatively low level, but I've been watching all the tournaments and stuff as that's been going on. So
was Warren the Zerg who in Wings of Liberty popularized macro hatches relatively early? Like he had developed a different style. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that rings a bell. It was so long ago, though.
Was it Warren, though? I can't remember.
I don't know.
At any rate, I've certainly never played against him. Ever.
Well, I mean, then it's just like ladder, right? I mean, sometimes.
We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this so I don't get distracted.
Yeah.
Good luck in your cast.
Oh, yay. All right.
Where's the disconnect button?
It's the little phone with the X on it next to voice connected. There you go. All right, so he's gone, and now I'm by myself talking to myself. So that's great. It'll be his EVT, which will be pretty cool. I'm not actually in this right now. Let's see. Let's join the game. If I can. Here we go. Entering the lobby. In the lobby. Sweet! Here I am. Oh, no. He's not playing me. That would be the most uninteresting match ever. There we go. Alright, so we have PSISTORM's Warren. He's a Terran player. ZVT's, or TVZ, I don't know, whichever one you prefer, it's an awesome matchup. And there's a reason. It's the staple of StarCraft. I mean, no offense, Protoss, but when you think StarCraft, the first thing you think of is Terran and Zerg. Like, I don't know, it's like humans getting mauled by crazy, weird, alien, gooey looking things. So, but it also has some of the most entertaining games through history, at least of StarCraft 2. At least I think so. So I have no co-caster. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna try not to botch this, but you know, considering this is the first time I've really casted anything, this will be interesting, to say the least. I'll definitely be able to give at least a little bit more insight on the Zerg side of things. And here we go. We have Lyra. God, he's in my clan. I should know this. No. Well, dLife's Lyra. I'll figure it out eventually. Is in the upper left, and we have PSISTORM's Warren, the bottom right, in the red trunks, right? Is that what we're doing? Red trunks, pink trunks. So ZVT as a matchup is interesting, and Warren's going for a drone scout, which I guess just trying to see what kind of mumbo jumbo shenanigans could be coming, most likely revolving around that gold base. So we have racks, single gas, everything looks pretty normal, at least to me. Can harass that SUV, but I don't think he's actually going to be able to kill it now. His buddy comes over. And Warren's taking a gold. So, which is something you see a lot, especially with Zerg players against not other Zerg players, because that would be frightening, just having a base just out there, especially at first, unless you're, you know, determined to be the aggressor. But at that point, you know, most of the time you're going to be on one base if you're going aggressive that early. But that's about ZVZ. He hasn't pulled any drones off gas either, which is, well, that happens after the spawning pool, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. But we have a CC down, and he's not building it on the high ground, like Terrans sometimes do versus Zerg. So, which is, I guess, is a safer play. This is kind of looks to me like he's going to be a bit more greedy. He's taking that second gas, so perhaps, well, maybe not. All right. Well, actually, I don't know. This could be totally normal. We have this Reaper coming in here, and he's gonna get some stuff done, especially when speed isn't finished, none of the queens are out yet. Warren's just trying not to lose any drones right now, or, well, drones and some of his lings, but at some point you just gotta use the lings to keep him away from the drones. But is Reaper gonna get away? Yes. Yes, he does. So, didn't kill the Reaper, lost a few lings, but it could have been worse. So, there is that. Now, Lyra is making some Marines. Quite a few. Well, there's 4 right now. That is quite literally a few, or a quad. This Reaper is kind of poking in and out, doing more scouting now than actual, like, harassing. Overlord speed's already out. Interesting. He's getting more queens. Normal. He's got that 3rd hatchery on the way, also pretty normal. And then Lyra's going to start building this wall. Or at least start securing this location, because he has no real idea, of what's coming, or if anything's coming at all. And yeah, so here's going to focus more on a bio style, maybe? Yes. Yep. Because here come the medevacs. They're going to be reactored out, so Marines and medevacs all day. Oh, you know what? This is probably that drop build I keep hearing about. Maybe. The basically purely marine dropping thing. And he's getting his upgrades, well, at least +1 attack on the Marines. Oh, yeah. Yep. And Stem's just about to finish in the next few seconds. And yeah, here we go. He's just gonna run those over. Oh, the Marine got left behind. And in response to this, I don't think... Has he really scouted this? Well, I suppose he saw the... Yeah. No, you should have seen the medevacs coming down. He also has an overlord positioned right at a spot where Warren gets to see... Well, I'll talk about that later. Here come the Marines, but I don't think they're really going to do anything except kill a few Lings. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Those Lings just melted. But we have roaches coming out now, so that should be a lot easier for him to deal with, especially since +1/+1 is, well, will be finished eventually, but I don't know if it'll be out in time to... Well, no. It seems like Lear's backing up, so... Should be good in the hood. He's pressing this with the roaches, and he's going to kill that medevac, so those Marines are now stranded. There's another medevac coming with a Widow Mine and 6 Marines in it, so he's probably going to drop that. I'd say he'd try to go for the natural location, but maybe the gold. Well, the gold's actually a pretty prime spot too, because it's got that ledge right there, but... So that Overlord's gonna die, and the gold base gonna come down now. It's gonna drop. It's gonna there. Oh, there we go. So CC at the gold base. And we have that drop that came down and totally missed that. Didn't really do a whole lot. And Widow Mine probably died. Oh, pay attention to that. He's selecting it now, I think, or maybe not. Who knows? So Lear is still sticking to a predominantly marine-heavy composition. He's mixing some Marauders in, but I guess it's not too bad. I guess you just gotta watch out for if, Banelings start to be a thing, which isn't really the case so far, unless I'm totally blind and can't see a Baneling nest. No, I'm still good. So he's just gonna try to take straight up to Ultras, I'd imagine. Stick on Roach Ravager for a while, and make sure that's got him a nice clean window to make that transition, because Ultralisks are expensive. And considering he's getting pathogen glands, he's hoping to get some investors into the mix as well. But for right now, he's just on Ling Ravager. I don't even... There are a lot of roaches in there at all. Nope, it's all Ravager. So... But that creep spread, my god. And this is at 9 minutes. I'm terrible. But... So Lear's kind of flirting with the idea of a push, but he's actually moving out now, so... He's on 3 base. One of those 3 bases is a gold. So that means that he's got a lot of foundation behind him. That being said, though, Warren has basically 2, 3, 4, 5 mining bases, but they're not fully saturated, so let's call it a nice like 3 3/4. He's only got 1 tank with him right now, so this forest could be overwhelmed with enough stuff. This run by is going to get in, and that is going to wreck the SCV line. Well, I stand corrected. That kind of just disintegrated. The infestors are out. They're gaining energy, and one of them's got a whole lot of energy. I guess it is time to push, and ultras are on the way, as well as chitinous plating and +3 armor, ground armor, and +3 melee, which will, especially when the ultras come out in high enough numbers, basically make this forest near impossible for a bio-based army to kill. So if Lyra wants to do anything significant, he needs to find out, oh, that fungal. Oh, and goodbye Marines. And those tanks are basically dead. There's, 1 left, but that tank is not having a good day. And, I mean, this, as far as income's concerned, Zerg has a lot of harvest. He's got 20 more workers, which is a significant lead. I mean, regardless of the fact that, mules are a thing and Terran's going to generally be a little bit lower in worker count, it's still a lot. It's like a lot. And it's exactly 20 now, and the income is apparent. I mean, it's almost 1,000 more minerals and more than 1,000. Well, no, there's a few hundred more gas per anything, but in this, yep. Especially with those infested Terrans, the tanks don't even know what the heck's going on. Those biles actually killed his own infestors, though, so this could get cleaned up eventually. He's hitting himself during a lot of that, but if we look at the production, we got 5 more ultras on the way. Burrow just finished, and +3 armor, ground armor just, well, it's finished in like 10 seconds. So that'll make this force even more weirdly hard to kill. And I mean, the supply tells the tale here, right? It's Zerg has about 100 more supply. I know I'm doing math on stream. It's really bad, but and there's been trying to just kind of get this ragtag force together to deal with this, but we'll see. Yep, and there's the GG. So, didn't want to like call the game before it was over, but it happens. And I guess that does it for the clan war. As a dLife member, this is kind of bummed, but at the same time, they're pretty interesting games, so you can't really be too mad. And now it was a pleasure casting. I am completely terrified of public speaking, so I hope I'm not too grating of a voice to be whispering into your ears in the middle of the night or whatever time of day it is where you are. But GG's everyone, and I will maybe cast someday eventually, but until that day, have a good one.